Hey Deadpool, what did you think about the wrestling tonight? I could have used a few less commercial breaks, but other than that, I had a fun time. Me and him, we always agree on everything that he says. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and I wanted to give my quick thoughts on Saturday night's main event, which happened not too long ago. And I wanted to give my thoughts and review of the show. And this kind of kicks off my wrestling week because I will be heading up to Indianapolis for Royal Rumble, and that will be a very fun experience, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'll have all sorts of stuff posted to the channel, so be sure to watch out for that. But before we get there, we have to talk about this show. And overall, I thought the show was pretty good. Very predictable show, but then again, you kind of need those shows sometimes in wrestling to work out. But other than it being predictable, I had a fun time watching it. Show kicked off, of course, with the old Obsession theme and Joe Tessitore and Jesse the Body talking about what to expect on the show. And then, of course, we kick off with Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World title. Um, these two have awesome chemistry as showcased in the match in Perth a couple years back. And I had a blast with this match in particular. I absolutely loved it. Rhea had some very interesting counters for Jax, but in the end, she was able to hit a Riptide and retain her title, which I think was the right decision. Moving on, we have, IC title match, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus, and I'm honestly thinking that this will probably be the feud that Sheamus has going through until Mania, because I think him winning the IC title at Mania, much like how Sammy won the IC title at Mania 40 last year, I think that'll probably be a big moment that happens at this year's Mania, I think. But still, I think this was a really solid match between the two of them. One of the spots that I really liked in this match was when Breaker speared Sheamus out of his boots when he jumped off the stairs. I loved that. Towards the end, Braun showed a bit of ring awareness by placing his foot on the bottom rope to break up a pin, trained some strikes back and forth, but in the end, Breaker was able to hit a super spear to retain his IC title. Then we get the contract signing between KO and Cody before their match at the Rumble. Um, KO is, talking all his trash, and Cody was like, enough, essentially. Like, no one came here to listen to you. Sean isn't here to listen to you. He's here so you can sign the contract. And of course, KO just keeps talking on and on. And Michael says that Kevin may be just a tad jealous. And Cody or KO just snaps at Michaels and saying, I'm not going to quit like him. I'm not going to take this belt and leave or win this belt and then vacate it because I lost my smile because of you. And I'm actually going to be a champion that people like around here. Um, they, of course, both of them sign. They both they hook onto their belts and they raise them. KO hits a cheap shot on Cody and is about to package pile driver Michaels, but Cody hits a super kick and Sean hits Sweet Chin Music to end the segment. Next up, we have Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, and this was really an angle disguised as a match. Strowman with the advantage early on in the matchup, and then Fatu was able to use his quickness and his strength to kind of overpower Strowman, hitting a pop-up Samoan drop on the outside on the table, brings him back into the ring and constantly hits hip attacks in the corner, so much so that the ref steps in. Fatu throws him out and continues throwing hip attacks. Ref calls for the bell, a DQ win for Strowman, but Fatu just keeps laying in the hip attacks. Officials, other refs come out. Fatu hits a couple of moonsaults and takes his leave. and basically leaves Strowman in a bloody heap. Um, if you guys have seen my Rumble fantasy booking, which I highly recommend you check out, um, I have made the suggestion that Zilla Fatu may make his debut in the Rumble this year. And maybe that'll happen, or maybe we'll have another confrontation between Roman and uh, Jacob in the Rumble match itself. But other than that, I think Jacob came out looking really strong in this, and I'm very excited to see what he's got going for him heading into Mania. And then, of course, we have our main event, which is Gunther versus Jey Uso for the world title. Again, the outcome seemed fairly obvious that Gunther was going to retain, but man, towards the end of that match, they had me like buying into Jey might actually win it. Um, they they worked well with each other, going back and forth. Towards the tail end of the match, Jey was able to hit a couple of spears. Gunther kicked out. Um, Jey hits a couple super kicks and heads up for a splash, and I'm like, Jey's not going to hit a splash, but he does. But Gunther did kick out. Um, Jey goes for another spear, but then Gunther hits the two powerbomb combo, stacks him up, and Gunther retains the title, which is most assuredly the right decision. So, yeah, overall, Saturday night's main event was fun and enjoyable, if not a bit predictable. But again, like I said at the beginning, you need those predictable shows in wrestling to get to like your big 10 pole shows. So, yeah, next show that I review will be Royal Rumble, and I'm going to be there in person, and I cannot wait. I'll catch you guys next time.